You are getting towards the end of the essay writing process. You've got some bookkeeping type tasks to do. You're going to have to be attentive to details. So now isn't the time to start getting sloppy. A big part of your grade is going to come from these final paragraphs in the Works Cited page. So make sure you're staying with us, taking your time, doing your best work, and following instructions. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So step 6 actually has 2 parts. You're writing your conclusion and you're creating your Works Cited page. So before we get to the Works Cited stuff, let's worry about the conclusion. Remember, your conclusion isn't going to have anything new in it. You're probably not going to do any additional citations. You're summarizing your ideas and leaving the reader with something to think about. So let's go ahead and let's just do this quickly. I don't think it'll take a super long time. Explain that the issue of age discrimination, in my case, yours might be gender discrimination, intellectual disability discrimination, socioeconomic discrimination, whatever it is, has a long history. And honestly, I just kind of need to rephrase that sentence. So, age discrimination has a long history here in America. Works for racism, works for gender. You could probably just take the same sentence and customize it a little bit. Explain that the issue of discrimination based on age continues to impact individuals in society today. You'd change this up for gender or socioeconomic status or whatever your topic is. So, age discrimination continues to impact individuals in society today. So notice I'm almost just rephrasing the prompts, and I do that because I think that conclusions are hard for a lot of students, and I'm trying to, since you're probably underclassmen, push you along in the right direction so you can see how this is put together. All right, let's see what we got to do next. Explain why discrimination against older adults is a problem for all human beings in society, not just those who are older adults. Okay, so now I actually have to have some original thoughts. So the problem is whenever you discriminate against one group within your society, you're showing a general lack of consideration for human life, and I think that cheapens everyone's, quality of life. So I think I'm going to say something to that effect. I have to think about what I want to say. Same as you guys, I don't just barf this stuff off automatically. I gotta think. Okay, by failing to respect our elders, I think I want to keep it, I want a formal tone. I can't say I or me, so I want to make sure I get rid of that part. Hang on. Failing to respect older people. And I'm going to say, or any other group of individuals all human life is devalued. In this case, younger people will miss out on valuable knowledge that older people could share. Okay, and so you could probably do something similar. Oops, I got a typo. Excuse me, I think my videos are getting sloppier as I go. Hopefully the writing's not. Okay, so now let's talk about last thing. Describe what needs to be done. Do we need laws to change? Do we need society in general to take a different view of this group in order for equality to be achieved? So I kind of think it comes down to we have to embrace that all of us are going to get older someday and that we too are going to want to be valued in our old age and not disrespected. And so I think I'm going to say something about that. It's like we're this society that's so obsessed with youth, we can't stand to have older people around, and we end up missing out on so much. I'm going to say until American culture, because I'm trying not to say I, me, or our, or any of that, which is really hard. Until American culture can see value in older minds and bodies, society will continue to devalue the very individuals within society who have the most to contribute. I mean, I would argue older people probably have the most to contribute in terms of life experience. We could learn a lot. Like all human beings will grow old one day. Okay, I think I can stop there. Okay, so what I want to do is I do want to go ahead and I want to get rid of the parts of this that are not my own words. So I'm going to go ahead and like take all the blue type out like I've done on my earlier paragraphs. And remember, you don't have big old spaces between every sentence, so I got to make sure I get rid of that. Okay, I'm just going to smoosh this up together. Looks good. And, you know, I may go back later and revise it. I do think my word choices are maybe a touch repetitive here. Make sure I indent the first line. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do next is I'm going to scroll down and work on this Works Cited page. Okay, so this is the place where if you're going to get sloppy, I'll bet you get sloppy here. If you have been doing what you were instructed to do throughout the course of the essay, your Works Cited entries are ready to go. You've just got to copy and paste them down here where it says type here, and you're going to be all set. So let's go ahead and we're going to scroll all the way back up to the beginning of the essay, and we're going to start copying and pasting the information down here. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to scroll all the way back up to the top and just start there. So I know that I cited some sources in my introduction. Oh, there's one of them. And there's a couple ways I could probably make this easier on myself. I can copy and paste this like down below, or I could probably copy and paste it into a secondary document. I think that's what I'm going to show you guys how to do. I'm going to go ahead and just make another document. I'm going to show you what I mean. I think this will be easier than scrolling back and forth, and I'll show you why. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and place this over here. And I'm going to have my documents side by side, or close to side by side anyway. Let me see if I can get this moved over just a hair. Okay, so now it's easier for me to access both of them. So what I'm going to do is for each of these Works Cited entries, I'm going to copy and paste them into this document. And I'll show you what I'm doing with all of that in a minute here. Let's see some other things I cited. Ageism in an Aging Society. Did I actually use that one? I used that source. Cool. I'm going to copy and paste it. And it turns out, you know, I looked back at my introduction. I never did cite this source. I can actually get rid of this one. I took some information down about it, but I ended up not using it. That's why you guys had two sources for each of the body paragraphs in the introduction. I wanted you to have some options. Okay, so let's go ahead and look and see what else we know we used. Now, I know I used that ageism source a ton. There's my Works Cited entry. And because ageism A comes before D, I'm going to go ahead and alphabetize this because you want your works cited entries to be in alphabetical order. And that's going to be a big deal at the end. So I'm just going to take the time to do it as I go. All right, let me go ahead and scroll down. I know I didn't end up using this source here, so I don't really need that one that I did. I did all that work and I ended up not using it, but that's okay. I'm scrolling down and looking for my next thing. Yeah, I used that ageism source again, so that's already in there. And did I end up using this? I did. I think I ended up using, yeah, that source. Because I'm looking at my paragraph, I'm looking to see if it was used. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Command C. So H in health, that's the first word. H comes after D. I'm going to alphabetically just go ahead and put it in there. And you can see this is not formatted perfectly yet by a long shot, but I'm going to take care of that at the end. Okay, let's go ahead and see. Now I know I used of mice and men. Remember, pages have aligned to this text. I'm going to copy it. And Steinbeck starts with S. I know that S comes after H. I'm going to alphabetize that. And I can't have this be blue. I can't have like one random blue entry. Change that to black. And then I think we're getting close. Okay, so what I have to do is if the source has page numbers like the novel, I do need to say specifically which pages I used at the end of my works cited entry. So looking at this last source, pages 44 and 45 were used. Oops, I don't need that ISBN number. And you just do it at the end just like that. Okay, so a lot of these were website pages, like this one here. No, not that one. This one and this one. They don't have page numbers, but this one, this Ageism in America one, I know it did. So I'm going to go back in my text. And I know I used them in my body paragraphs. And I'm going to see what pages I used. So I used page 2. I used page 12. Okay, and I'm just going to do the same thing here. You can watch what I'm doing. 2, 12. I know I used some others in the other paragraph. I'm going to scroll on up there. Oh, where is that guy? Ah, here we go. Okay, so it looks like I used 22 and 18 and 20. So I want to keep going in order. I use page 18, 20, and 22. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is the top of my Works Cited page is going to say Works Cited. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this over. It just was easier to manipulate a document side by side. So that's a trick that you can use as well. So I'm going to scroll back to where that's supposed to go. Here we go, Works Cited type here. All right, I know I've got some formatting to do, but we're mostly there. All right, so you're going to come back in the last video, and I'm going to show you how to take this kind of sort of put together mess with a bunch of extra stuff in the middle and actually format that into an essay that you're going to be turning in for class. All right, so stay strong. One more step to go.